out of Stephen F. Austin in his fourth season with the Pirates. Kenzie Beckham gets us started on service for East Carolina, and we're underway in the title match of the VT Classic. Both teams so good defensively, and the Pirates will strike first blood. Nice kill there from Carlia Northcross. Swinging from right to left. Now, if you like defensive volleyball, this is the game for you. Both these teams so impressive defensively. The Hokies trying to get on the scoreboard, and Dupre sends it out wide, but it was touched by a Pirate, and Virginia Tech gets on the scoreboard to tie it up. Hannah Borer will take the service. Leads the team in service aces with 12 on the season, does the sophomore from Lewis Center, Ohio. Now, you talk about defensive volleyball, and arguably no better matchup in the country today in defensive volleyball than these two teams here. We're going to see a lot of digs. And just like that, a beautiful pancake, but it was called to touch the floor. Ileana Rodriguez thought she got a hand under it, but instead it hits the floor, and it's point Pirates. Hokies not pleased with the call, but it switches back over a side out, and Northcross is the server. Virginia Tech ranks third in the nation in opponent hitting percentage, only allowing a hitting percentage of 120. Again, that's third in the country. Dupre sends one, it goes deep, but East Carolina able to recover. Now, the Pirates, similar in that regard, 127, their opponent hitting percentage. That's good for seventh in the nation. So you have two top 10 defenses going at it in the title match of the Virginia Tech Classic. We're already seeing it here with a really long volley on just the fourth point of the game. Beautiful defense for East Carolina. Borer set, and it's Ava Francis able to finish the job. Ties it back up at 2. But we saw there such a long volley. Hannah Borer, really good setter. 10 assists per set on average. It's her 354th assist of the season. An already wild number in just the 11th game of the season for the Hokies. Goes over the net, and Kara Lewis just stuffs it home. Tech takes its first lead of the match and of the set. Elizabeth Aylward, the freshman from Nashville, Tennessee, sends it on over. And just a nice roll off the fingertips. East Carolina Farah Farouk, the freshman from Houston. When we go back and forth, we have not had more than 2 points consecutively scored. Server for East Carolina, Peyton Evenstad. She sends it wide, a service error. Evenstad typically comes in those serving situations, but it hasn't always worked out. 9 service aces, but the 12 service errors for Evenstad. Back over the libero for the Hokies, Ileana Rodriguez, a New York City native. Sends it over, and East Carolina looks to respond. A weak hit over the net. Borer, that's set again, but a nice stuff by Virginia Tech. And it's again Borer, such a great setter. The sophomore setter, 33rd in the nation individually in assists per set. And once you get into those numbers, such as Borer enters with a 10.38 assists per set, those numbers become really small, really fast. So one of the best setters in the country in Borer. Borer, another set. It's just weakly sent over by Peterson. Nice swing. On Alderete couldn't swing it over. And a nice set there. But a net violation called against Virginia Tech. It's point East Carolina. But Mangul Duran sent it over with emphasis for Virginia Tech. Angeles Alderete. AC Freshman of the Year last year, now in her sophomore season for the Pirates. Sends it over Borer, sets for Manguel Duran, who finishes the job. Leandra Manguel Duran, the transfer out of Missouri for Virginia Tech. Graduate from Rio Grande, Puerto Rico, finishes the job on the kill as Elena Dupre sends it over, the next server for Tech, but she'll get a service error of her own. And it's point for the Pirates.
Number 4,
Lara Uyar, the Turkish transfer from Wichita State, the next server for East Carolina. Solid serve, Borer sets, Manguel Duran, a weak set over. Marinelli dug it out for East Carolina. Huff tried to finish the job, and it goes right back over. Second chance for Huff. And a violation against East Carolina. The net violation goes against Evenstad, and it's point Hokies. Solid crowd in attendance here in Blacksburg. Some students even making their faces seen. Set back over. Peterson tried to stuff it, and she does. Peterson gets the kill. East Carolina tried to recover and just couldn't, faltering. Manguel Duran back to serve. This is all, meanwhile, while Virginia Tech football on the road up in New Jersey, taking on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights of the Big Ten. Set swing over. Borer sets. And it's Ava Francis who's able to finish the job. East Carolina is doing such a nice job of digging the ball out and trying to get a set, as the Pirates will call the first timeout of the set. Carolina taking down Duquesne, Virginia Tech taking down Queens University of Charlotte in just their second season at the D1 level. Moving up from Division II were the Royals. Leandra Manguel Duran continues service with the Hokies, leading by 4 over American side East Carolina. Solid shot for East Carolina. Ollie Huff finds the court. Tucked it all the way back corner. Well, both these teams, Virginia Tech, East Carolina, here on a fall Saturday, have football teams going at it. Not against each other. Virginia Tech up in Piscataway, New Jersey, taking on Rutgers. East Carolina in North Carolina still, but in Boone to take on the App State Mountaineers. Juliana Askew sends it over. A nice block by Hannah Borer. East Carolina now has to recover. Borer the set, and it's Ava Francis tipping it off the front line of East Carolina. Point Hokies. Well, for East Carolina, end of the first quarter, Appalachian State leading in football 10-7 over the Pirates. Virginia Tech, meanwhile, trailing 7-0 to Rutgers on the road. A dump of a kill over for Juliana Askew. Ava Francis on the previous point, just able to deliver so much emphasis, so much power for the redshirt sophomore Francis. Pirates will have Kenzie Beckham, who started this game off as the server. Full rotation for East Carolina. Borer looked to finish the job herself, but instead it was an attack into the net by Carlia Northcross. And it's the Hokies with the point once again. Borer, the sophomore from Ohio, becomes the server. Low over the net. The set for Alderete, who sends it out the attacking air, will give the Hokies yet another point. East Carolina just hitting 111. That's what Virginia Tech does so well. They force you to make mistakes. Set and the finish for Northcross. Askew with the set. Northcross finished the job, and We really saw it yesterday in the match against Duquesne for East Carolina, just how much power Northcross has. She becomes the server, and it's a power shot that hits off the back line, finds its way into a service ace, and our first ace of the day belongs to the sophomore from Memphis, Tennessee. 7th ace of the season for Northcross. This time low over the net, and it almost looked like back-to-back aces. The set by Askew, crossing shot goes out, and the attacking error for Fran McBride. It's a side out straight back to the Hokies. East Carolina used an early timeout, falling behind early to the host of the Virginia Tech Classic. Freshman Aylward, high over the net. The set, and McBride is able to finish the job. On the right side for McBride. Mississippi State Bulldog transferring over to the American Athletic Conference, and ECU. She'll be subbed out as Evenstad, who her last serve was a service error. Is back on the back line for East Carolina. Too high, and it's back-to-back service errors for Peyton Evenstad. Hokies back up by 4 in the set. Ileana Rodriguez, that one goes too far. So trading service errors are the Pirates and the Hokies. Pirates will check in Izzy Marinelli. Doesn't play all too much, but in a roll situation, mostly when Alderete becomes the server. She has a nice serve back over the net, and it's Ileana Rodriguez's dig that goes back over the net and out of bounds. Point ECU, back within 2. High over the net, we have another service there. Angeles Alderete has the most service aces, but also the most service errors on this Pirates team, and she'll add to her error column. Hokies see Elena Dupre on a service ace, showing how it's done. Elena Dupre, the junior from Alexandria, will get another chance after the service ace. Quite the interesting story for Elena Dupre, native to Northern Virginia. And some history within her family for college athletics. Mom played basketball at North Carolina. Nice block attempt, but Virginia Tech has to reset. Her dad, meanwhile, played football, not at North Carolina, not at Virginia Tech, but at Iowa for the Hawkeyes. So a UNC basketball mom and Iowa football dad equals a Virginia Tech volleyball player in Elena Dupre. Long volley ends up with Virginia Tech on a net violation against Marinelli. East Carolina booked for another violation, and it gives the point right back to the Hokies. And that was a volley in which East Carolina looked like it had control and was driving the pace of that volley. And a net violation just finishes that. Marinelli will send it over, tip off the front line. Borer sets up, but an attack into the net for Sydney Peterson gives the point to ECU.
For ECU, number 4.
Laura Uya. Uya took over as the top Wichita State Shocker libero last October, transferred over to East Carolina to become the full-time libero, and it's Hannah Borer sending it over the net. We don't see her do that too much. It's typically that dump kill attempt for Hannah Borer, just her 30th kill on the season. Compare that to her well over 350 assists. It's Leandra Mangual-Duran, Puerto Rico native. High over the net. Even stat for Marinelli finishing the job. Just finds the spot in the back row. Went in between a couple of Hokies, and Izzy Marinelli
On the floor for ECU, number 21,
will find the floor.
And serving number 9,
ECU serving, we'll see Juliana Askew out of the University of North Florida for the Ospreys over in Jacksonville. Transferred over to be closer to her hometown and back in her home state. Battle at the net. We'll see Peterson serve it up for Francis. Down to the court where Marinelli will dig it out. And a nice kill by Angeles Alderete. Just touched by Dupre. Tried to dig it out. Couldn't get enough of a piece of it. And Alderete will get the kill for ECU. Over the net, and a solid service ace for Juliana Askew. And it feels like we're seeing a lot of service aces and a lot of service errors. Third ace for East Carolina. Only one for Tech so far. Askew trying to finish the job. Get the job done again, I should say, on that service ace. Another solid serve right over the top of the net. Mangual-Duran. And it's McBride. Heavy hitter, but it goes too far. And it's an attacking error on McBride. Point Virginia Tech getting closer and closer to that 25 mark. Sierra Cates gets her first serve of tonight's match, or this afternoon's match, but it's Marinelli who ends Cates' service pretty quickly. Marinelli with yet another kill. Delivery. Alderete. Bohr to Francis. Hits off the front line and a solid block. Carlia Northcross and Fran McBride combined to get the block, and East Carolina has pulled back within a point. ECU has not been a point away since both teams were in the single digits. Kara Lewis with a solid attempt, but East Carolina able to recover. Bohr for Lewis, and this time finishes the job. Kara Lewis gets Virginia Tech to the 20 mark in the first set. Hannah Bohr, the Ohio native, Virginia Tech. Kara Lewis getting the kill to get Tech to 21, 4 points away from the set win. And East Carolina forced to call timeout, got within a point. Virginia Tech puts it up to a 3-point set. 21-18, Virginia Tech. We'll take a short break here on the ACC Network. He's leading by 3. Some final words of advice on the Virginia Tech side from fourth-year head coach Marcy Byers, sending Hannah Bohr back to the back line. She'll continue the service. Second serve of this side for Bohr. A swing by Francis. Nice recovery for East Carolina. Problematic spot as Dupre sets up. Back row attack from Mangual-Duran. And it's Angeles Alderete, too far gone. Virginia Tech gets the point, inching closer to that mark. Adler Augustine and East Carolina wanted a 2 touches, didn't get it. Pirates have a benefit that they didn't get yesterday of the challenge review system. Ava Francis sends it over past the blockers of Northcross and McBride. And Hannah Bohr has been having a really good turn serving. A 4-0 run for Virginia Tech. McBride, a swing and finishes the job. Fran McBride, yet another kill. Had a season-high 10 kills in yesterday's match against Duquesne. In that match, East Carolina did not have the challenge review system due to it being a neutral site match here in Blacksburg. Adler Augustine does have the benefit of a replay review today. Borer sets it up. Francis, a solid swing. Nice dig by Askew. Has to send it over as Alderetti and gets it past the front line. Alderetti is able to hit it off a Hokie as it goes out of bounds, and East Carolina looking to start a run of their own. Carlia Northcross, American Athletic Conference Defensive Player of the Week 2 weeks ago. Borer sets it up. Francis, a solid swing, and it gets past the blockers again. And it's been more so East Carolina hurting themselves with swings off the blockers. And now it's set point. Virginia Tech with the freshman Elizabeth Aylward trying to put the Hokies up a 7-0 against a really good East Carolina side. Alderetti, it's blocked by Lewis. And that's how the first set will come to an end. Kara Lewis goes up and says, not today, a huge block for the senior Lewis. Tech takes the first set 25-20 here in the title match of the Virginia Tech Classic. Take a break, be back for set 2 here on the ACC against. So two great defenses doing battle. Tyler Katz with you here on the ACC Network Extra. Virginia Tech beginning service in the second set, just going over the lineups and rotations with our officials, Robert Boggs and Wade Brents. Hokies will see Eliana Rodriguez begin the service for Virginia Tech. Now, East Carolina had a pretty good set, just couldn't quite finish the job against Virginia Tech. That hitting percentage needs to improve, currently at a 135. A set and 2 touches against East Carolina, our first such violation of the game. Ileana Rodriguez. Low serve right over the net. Askew for McBride. Solid dig by Manuel Duran. Lewis needs to send it over. Just couldn't quite get underneath it enough, and it is point East Carolina.
Number 18,
Pirates will see Northcross serve it. Borer, high set for Dupre. Askew over to Alderetti. And it's an attacking air, goes out. Virginia Tech able to take advantage of another East Carolina error. And like I mentioned, Virginia Tech will force you to make those mistakes. 8 attacking errors for East Carolina as Borer sends it over. McBride this time finishes it. Solid swing from McBride. Had a season high in kills yesterday against the Dukes of Duquesne.
Also checking in number 2,
Evenstad comes into the ballgame for the Pirates. Junior setter from Faribault, Minnesota. Over and back and straight over into the crowd, and it's point East Carolina. Evenstad a high serve. Borer for Lewis. Looked like a solid set from Borer. East Carolina able to recover. This time for Francis. Dug out by Uya. Borer, Lewis again. That time it works out. Touch out of bounds by East Carolina. Borer, the primary setter for Virginia Tech, set up Kara Lewis twice and Ava Francis once before finally getting the point in their favor. Evenstad sets it, and a bad set will lead to a Virginia Tech point. 4 touches on East Carolina. Freshman Aylward, low over the net, solid serve. Block attempt, and it will end up being a block for Lewis and Dupre teaming up to get the point for the Hokies. East Carolina just 2 losses on the year. They hope not to make it 3. Solid swing for ECU. Angel Duran straight into the net, just a little too low. Right off the forearm for Angel Duran. Point ECU as Angeles Alderete. Sophomore outside hitter from Miami Springs, Florida. Attended the same high school as Virginia Tech player Amaya Roberson. Kara Lewis slams the door for Virginia Tech. Nice, powerful swing for Lewis. Sarah Cates comes into the ball game to do the service. California native. I was mentioning that Angeles Alderete, who is the best player statistically on this East Carolina roster, same high school as Virginia Tech start. Amaya Roberson, Matter Academy charter down in South Florida. Laura Uya, Turkish libero, sends it over for East Carolina. Borer for Dupre finishes the job. Hits off the blockers of East Carolina, and Dupre gets the kill. Rotates over to server. Dupre a high serve. Evenstad, a block by Angel Duran. Ouya sets it up, and it's sent over on an untraditional point for East Carolina. Hokies lead by a point early second set. 25-20. Hokies won the first set. Juliana Askew has some history with Virginia Tech. Borer for Peterson, and it's right off of Askew. Tried to dig it out, but it falls in. A nice kill by Sydney Peterson. Juliana Askew played for the University of North Florida in 2021 when during the Osprey Invitational, North Florida beat Virginia Tech in 5 sets, and Askew was a key part of that win for the Ospreys. But it's Angel Duran for Virginia Tech here in Blacksburg, this time with a service ace, putting the Hokies back up by 3 in the set. Virginia Tech needs to send it over. It's Borer. The set for Marinelli. Earns the kill. Yardley, Pennsylvania native, earns it for East Carolina. We'll see Kenzie Beckham, the Texas native, do the serving for East Carolina. Pirates have pulled back within 2. There's a good benchmark this season for East Carolina on whether or not they win or lose, as Dupre will send it over 4 sets, 4 touches for for Virginia Tech, gives the point to ECU. This season, when hitting over 200, East Carolina 8-0. When hitting under that mark, 0-2. Attacking air for Virginia Tech ties the set back up at 9. Today, East Carolina hitting just 102. So if that benchmark holds true, Virginia Tech looking to get its 11th straight win to start the season, as Beckham with another service error. East Carolina has been all too familiar with those. 4 service errors today for the Pirates. Solid set, and it's McBride hitting the antenna. Well, East Carolina looking for some good news in more than just volleyball today. Pirates football team looking to take down Appalachian State. Pirates are leading the Mountaineers 14-10, and they get a point to get them up to 10 here in this second set. Early in Northcross. Server for East Carolina entered today with 6 aces and 9 errors, but Tara Lewis says, give me the side out. We want to be the next servers, and finishes the job for Virginia Tech.
Now serving for Virginia Tech, number 0, Hannah Moore.
East Carolina brought back tied at 9s. Since then, a 3-1 run for the Hokies. Net violation against Virginia Tech will see ECU earn another point. Goes against Ileana Rodriguez for the Hokies.
Rotating in number 12. Also checking in and serving number 2, Peyton
Evenstead, the Minnesota native, has had 2 service errors so far today. She'll send it long, but it's dug out by Virginia Tech. Francis, a solid shot. Ouya there, and a whistle. Point Virginia Tech on 2 touches for the Pirates. Elizabeth Aylward becomes the next server for Virginia Tech. Well, East Carolina, with 2 losses on the year, got swept as a service error for Aylward. Will bring the Pirates back within a point. Got swept by Georgia Southern back on the 25th of August, and then lost a 5-set thriller in Greenville against Appalachian State. That was on September 2nd. Already a really nice serve, but Manuel Duran is blocked. Rodriguez with the dig. Set, and Aylward sends it too far. East Carolina has pulled back tied. 5th tie of the set. Alderete. South Florida native will get the service ace here in Blacksburg. East Carolina has taken the lead here in the second set. This season, East Carolina, the second opponent from the American Athletic Conference for the Hokies. Pirates will see its first and only Power 5 opponent of its season, unless they make some postseason play. And for both these teams, the final non-conference tilt. Cates will deliver a service error, point East Carolina, and the Pirates will take a 15-14 lead into a break. Pirates looking to tie up the sets. Tech leading 1-0. Carolina up 15-14 here in the second set. Take a short break. Serve it over The libero dressed in purple for East Carolina. She sends it too far, a service error after the timeout. Ties the match, or the set, back up at 15. Elena Dupre. Medium height serve. Evenstad over. A dump out. A attacking error on Ollie Huff. East Carolina trying to say there was a touch, and Adler Augustine will use a challenge saying Virginia Tech touched the ball on the way out. So Adler Augustine using his challenge in the second set. A big point as it determines who takes the lead. And I guess the question is whether or not Manuel Duran touched it coming off the net, attempting the block. First challenge of the day. Only one challenge so far in this Virginia Tech Classic. It was by Virginia Tech yesterday against Queens. And the question is, did that finger move for Manuel Duran? That angle is really tough to see since the ball is blocking the view of whether that finger is bent back. That challenge also on a touch yesterday. Virginia Tech was called on a touch. After the review, there was no touch. And personally, I just think this is really tough to overturn this. And it will stand with Virginia Tech. Yeah, just not enough to say there was a touch from Manuel Duran. You couldn't really see if that finger got bent back by the ball. And all things considered, that's the right call. Elena Dupre. Slap high serve for Dupre. Evenstad sets it up. Huff did not see her in the first set. Manuel Duran gets it past the blockers for East Carolina. And the Hokies get a little breathing room. Timeout East Carolina. Adler Augustine after the review, and now the point. And a nice swing by Leandra Manuel Duran. Hokies go up by 2. Take a short break here on the ACC Network Extra. Hokies trying to win their namesake Virginia Tech Classic on the ACC. As Virginia Tech took a 2-point lead in the set, Elena Dupre with her third serve of the side. Dupre tried to swing from the back row. And this time a touch called on Virginia Tech. Solid swing from East Carolina. Was asking for a touch prior, didn't get it. This time they do. Izzy Marinelli with the kill for East Carolina. Juliana Askew, the North Florida transfer. Looking to get the service ace. Rodriguez sends it back over. Manuel Duran. Marinelli. Another nice dig by Rodriguez. Manuel Duran blocked. Rodriguez with the set. Manuel Duran. And again, two of the best defensive volleyball teams in the country. Two top 10 defenses as Manuel Duran is blocked. Nice dig by Rodriguez. Neither team deserves to lose this point on an incredible volley. And 2 touches by East Carolina in the heat of battle give the point to the Hokies. Mentioned it all day today. Virginia Tech, third best defense in the country with an opponent hitting percentage of 120. East Carolina not too far off, 7th in opposing hitting percentage at 127. Solid swing by Alderetti. Tough spot for Virginia Tech on the ropes. Borer, now Peterson. ECU has been in control of this entire volley, and it's Fran McBride earning the point for East Carolina.
Checking in for ECU and serving number 17, Kenzie.
ECU will see Kenzie Beckham become the next server. Nice low serve, Borer for Francis, but it's blocked by McBride. Northcross got a piece of it too. And an entertaining second set. Pirates and Hokies tied at 18. Pirates trying to even the sets. Beckham, low serve. Borer for Peterson. Awkward set over. Borer again. Francis blocked out of bounds, and Virginia Tech takes the point. Eliano Rodriguez. New York native, played for the Dominican Republic national team from 2021 all the way up to this year, including a gold medal at the Pan American Games. Nice swing, even better dig by Manuel Durant. Set reach over the net by Lewis. Borer for Lewis again, sends it too far, and East Carolina takes the point. This set has just been back and forth. We've had 9 ties this set. Carlia Northcross. High into the air and a low serve off the top of the net. Borer for Lewis. It's blocked out of bounds. Second time in the past 3 points that East Carolina has gone up for the block, but it's not angled the right way. It ends up going out of bounds and gives the point to Virginia Tech. Borer, low serve. Beckham on the dig that goes over. And it's Dupre. Straight into the scorer's table on the dig. Virginia Tech earns the point. Timeout, East Carolina. Their second of the set. Adler Augustine trying to draw something up with Virginia Tech inching closer to that 25 mark to win the set. Hokies lead at 21-19 in set 2. We'll take a short break. Hannah Borer with her second serve of this rotation. Set, McBride swings, and it's in. Fran McBride just finds the line. Earns the kill. For McBride, her 6th kill of the match. Had a season-high 10 yesterday against Duquesne. We'll see Tia Shum for the first time in today's match. She comes in to send it over the net. Francis is stuffed by Farah Farouk. East Carolina has pulled into a tie yet again. 10th tie of the set as we go back and forth in Blacksburg. High serve gets Virginia Tech off guard. The set and Alderetti puts East Carolina ahead. Timeout, Virginia Tech. Marcy Byers now wants to draw something up after 3 straight ECU points. 22-21, East Carolina. We'll be back here from Castle Coliseum in Blacksburg after this. The ACC Network Extra. With you on the ACC Network Extra, Marcy Byers calling timeout after 3 straight ECU points. Tia Shum came into the ball game to serve late in the second set, and she's earned ECU a couple of points in a row. The London, Ontario native Borer sets it up. Dupre, a heavy-handed swing. Dupre, second attempt. Alderete softly touched over, and Alderete, American Athletic Conference Freshman of the Year last year, now trying to become the American Player of the Year. East Carolina inching closer to a set 2 victory. Shum, way high of a serve. Borer for Francis, it's blocked out of bounds. Hokies get the point. Virginia Tech Spirit Squad, band in the house today. Elizabeth Aylward had a service ace her last rotation. Sends it over cleanly. And a block gets over the net and falls onto the Virginia Tech side of the court. East Carolina has set point. Angeles Alderete. All AAC preseason team. Will send it low over the net. Rodriguez couldn't handle it, and a service ace from Angeles Alderete gives East Carolina the set win in set 2, 25-22 ECU, and we are tied at 1 here in Blacksburg. Well, we got it in both sides getting a set win apiece. East Carolina starts the service in set 3. It's Kenzie Beckham low over the net. Anna Borer sets it up for Francis, who goes wide. Alderete, a slap over too far. And Alderete will take another error. Gives a point to the Hokies. Angeles Alderete has been one of the best parts of this East Carolina side. 6 kills is tied for the team lead, but 6 errors for Alderete as well. A swing and a kill for Carlia Northcross. Northcross will get her 3rd kill of the match. For both sides, the leader in kills, tie for the lead between Ava Francis and Kara Lewis, both of Virginia Tech. Too far on the serve goes Carlia Northcross. It's a 2-1 Hokie lead early in the 3rd. Some more stat leaders entering set 3. Dig leader is Lara Uyar for East Carolina. Eliana Rodriguez with 9, leading all players for Virginia Tech, and it makes sense the 2 liberos. A swing and another error for Alderete. And Alderete, a great talent. When you swing as much as she does, you're going to get kills, but you're going to get errors as well. 7th error of the match for Alderete. Alderete sends it over. Will be Manuel Duran coming up. Swing and off the blockers for Farah Farouk.
Rotating at number 12,
Farouk had an abbreviated game yesterday. Just 3 kills and 2 blocks against Duquesne. Compare that to what she's had earlier this season. A 10-kill performance against Appalachian State, a 6-block performance against the Mountaineers as well. Peyton Evenstad sends it over for ECU, but Kara Lewis slams the hammer. Kill for Lewis. She exits with emphasis. Hokies have taken a 4-2 lead. Virginia Tech on their best start in program history. A service ace for Ileana Rodriguez. That's another point on the scoreboard. Hokies additionally one of just 12 undefeated teams in the country on a list with some dynasties of college volleyball. Alderete sends it past the blockers. She'll get another kill for her name. Well, Virginia Tech undefeated. Other teams that are undefeated: Arizona State, Eastern Illinois, Wyoming, Cal, the Citadel, Brown, and then you get some of the bigger names of college volleyball. Teams like Louisville, Florida, Nebraska, Wisconsin, and Georgia Tech, all undefeated. One of 12 alongside the 10-0 Hokies. Borer for Peterson. Stuffs it home. Last time Virginia Tech had a start this good was a 9-0 start in 2009. That year, Virginia Tech finished 19-12 with just a 9-11 mark in the ACC. Solid swing for the Pirates, but another point for the visitors. Hokies start up ACC play here from Castle on September 22nd, so in just about a week. It's a 6 o'clock game here on the Extra, ACC Network Extra, as the Hokies will welcome in the Florida State Seminoles. Hannah Borer comes up with the block as well as Peterson. Hokies back up to a 3-point lead. Leandra Mengul-Duran serves for the Hokies, dressed in orange. Now next weekend is when the Florida teams visit Castle Coliseum in Blacksburg, as well as Florida State on Friday. Sunday afternoon, the Miami Hurricanes come to town. That game will be broadcast on the ACC Network, wherever you get your cable coverage from. Point Hokies, touch out of bounds by East Carolina. Elena Dupre able to add some more to her statistics. Service error for Leandra Mengul-Duran gives a point back to the Pirates. When we talk about Elena Dupre, who got the kill 2 points ago, she had a career-high 18 kills last night against the Queens Royals. So far, Dupre with 5 here in the third set. Borer for Francis. It's off the block and out of bounds. The net does the Hokies a favor as it skips off the very top of the Virginia Tech volleyball net and lands out of bounds. Sarah Cates, the California native, low over the net. Nearly skips off of it. A dump, nice dig, and it goes out. So Virginia Tech had a solid chance to rally. But an attacking error gave the Pirates the point. Hokies took the first set 25-20. ECU responded with a 25-22 set of their own. Lewis, swing. Dug out by Uya. A bump swing by Ava Francis, attacking error, and it's another point for the Pirates. Kenzie Beckham, last year's libero for ECU, led the team with 450 digs. Gave up the spot to Uyar, who was the transfer from Wichita State. ECU desperate to get it over, and they do. Borer sets it up. Soft hit by Lewis. Alderete. And it's Dupre. Can't find the court on a long volley. Set, and it's Alderete again. Dug out, it's tipped by Dupre, but falls onto the court out of bounds. East Carolina gets the point. And if Virginia Tech recovered on that swing by Alderete, you would have been seeing it on SportsCenter tonight. It went from Rodriguez, a big swing of the arm by Dupre, and just couldn't quite set it up for another teammate. Dupre goes over. Askew to McBride. Blockers are there. It's McBride again. This time it lands right in front of Elena Dupre. And had Dupre just gotten an arm on that previous point, she could have definitely set it up for Virginia Tech to recover on what was a long volley. Tied at 9 in the third set. Beckham. It's Borer for Manuel Duran. Uya for Alderete. High up, set, Askew. And it's Carlia Northcross sending the Hokies all the way back to the tunnel. Pirates have now taken the lead in the third set. And I mean, I don't need to tell you this, but this set's so important. Whoever wins this set puts the other team on the ropes, forcing them to force a fifth set. And it's Ava Francis right next to the antenna, stuffing it home. Mentioned earlier today as well, the Pirates and the Hokies both have football teams that are currently playing both road games. East Carolina locked in a battle with in-state foe Appalachian State. Pirates are leading that one at halftime, 21-16. And it's not too great news for Virginia Tech over in New Jersey, taking on Big Ten side in Rutgers. It's a 21-3 Scarlet Knights lead at the half. Alderete finishes the job on just an absolute cannon of a swing and tucked it right in perfect part of the court. I almost want to call it the corner, but it just goes perfectly within two Hokies. Northcross the server for the Pirates. Borer for Dupre. And such a strong arm of Dupre. We'll put the Hokies back on top in the set, 12-11. We promised you a good one today. Two top 10 defenses. McBride had a high hit. Borer for Lewis. Out of bounds and an attacking air for Kara Lewis will give the point to East Carolina. Peyton Evenstead, the junior setter from Faribault, Minnesota. Primary setter for East Carolina as Dupre earns another kill. Side out, and it's the libero, Ileana Rodriguez. Mom played volleyball for the Columbia Lions in New York City, Rodriguez's hometown. Hokies were looking for the tip, saying it was touched. Virginia Tech disagrees, and straight to the challenge card goes Marcy Byers. Second time today, there will be a challenge for a touch. And Virginia Tech officially challenging the ruling on the court. One challenge so far today, East Carolina unsuccessful. Hokies were called for a touch. Virginia Tech saying no, and it looks like Elena Dupre, the ball of her hand, the palm just under the pinky finger, hit the ball. Or maybe not on this slow-mo view. And we do have a overturn. Second referee, Wade Brents, overturns the call on the court. It's point Virginia Tech. And at first look, it did look like the side of Dupre's hand hit the ball. Then when you slow it down, you start to see, oh, hold on a second. Maybe not. And that's exactly what Wade Brentz, the secondary official today from the NCAA, saw and overturned the call. East Carolina just gets the point right back.
Number 25 is Marinelli. Serving number 49.
Hokies, 14 points, point away from getting the timeout. Analis Alderete. A smirk toying with the student section. And a whistle. And I think there is another review on the play. Virginia Tech didn't directly challenge it, but bit of comedy under this already. A smirk as the students on the north side of Castle Coliseum yell spin when she spins the ball, bounce when she bounces the ball, and she was trying to throw them off doing all different types of combinations. And after a review, an official review, shows that there was, in fact, an illegal block on East Carolina. And it gives another point to Virginia Tech. That puts the Hokies at 15 and will take us to our timeout. So an official review shows an illegal block on East Carolina. Hokies leading by 2 in the third set. And what a wild set it has been. 15-12, the score here from Blacksburg. As we'll take our media timeout in the third set, we'll be back. Overturn a point and give Virginia Tech the point. (15-12), the Hokies leading in the third set with Ileana Rodriguez, the St. John's transfer out of New York City. Continues service for the Hokies. A tip for East Carolina's Angeles Alderete can't get over the net, and it's point Hokies. Ileana Rodriguez delivering her 4th serve of the rotation. Virginia Tech on a 4-0 run since this set was tied at 12. Couple substitutions for the Pirates, just trying to figure out Virginia Tech with this Rodriguez serve. Askew sets it up for McBride, can't get it over the net again. And make that Farah Farouk, who couldn't get it over the net for the Pirates. And a timeout for East Carolina. Adler Augustine says, I've seen enough, let's talk about this. Virginia Tech on a 5-0 run here in Blacksburg, 17-12 in the third set on the ACC Network Extra. A 5-0 run for Virginia Tech. And Adler Augustine, the head coach for the Pirates, just trying to draw something, anything up. It's Alderete with the swing. Now a block goes out of bounds for Virginia Tech. And finally for the Pirates, they're saying side out. Angeles Alderete. Solid stir for Alderete, but it's Manuel Duran. Askew for Marinelli. Borer sent over by Peterson. Askew sets again. And this time touched by a Hokie that sent the trajectory slightly off, and the Pirates looking to start a run of their own. First meeting between Virginia Tech and East Carolina since 2009. A service ace for Alderete. Pirates cutting into this lead. Virginia Tech took the last meeting between these two. September 4th, 2009, a sweep for the Hokies. Total of 10 meetings between these two teams. 5th all-time meeting in Blacksburg. A set for Dupre. Sends it over and Dupre earns the kill. Last time these two teams played was at the BT tournament. Also, the only time these teams played to 25 points with the different rule changes. Point Virginia Tech, Dupre serving. The last time that East Carolina took a win in this series, you have to turn back the clocks to when Back to the Future was released, 1985. And Duran over the net and gets the kill. As a matter of fact, the first 3 games of this series belong to East Carolina. And the most recent in 1985. Since then, it's been all Hokies. 7 straight wins in the series. And timeout called by East Carolina. Hokies doing well in the 3rd set. Leandra Mangual-Duran leading the charge. Hokies up 20-15. Set 3 on the ACC Network Extra. th all-time meeting between ECU and Virginia Tech. 7 straight wins in the series by Virginia Tech as well. Alderete sends it over. Out of play. And gives it to Virginia Tech. Both referees were confused on who to give it to, and it looks like we'll have a challenge coming from Virginia Tech and Marcy Byers. Both referees were going back and forth, questioning on which arm to put up, and it eventually landed on East Carolina. And it will cause our second review. So the call on the court was that it was touched out of bounds by Virginia Tech. The Hokies, for the second time today, say that they did not touch the ball. This could be a huge point for Virginia Tech. See if we can get a look here. So the question is on whether or not East Carolina touched the ball, and after review says that they did. So East Carolina on the block touched it as it went out of bounds. That flips the point from East Carolina to Virginia Tech. Second successful challenge of the game for the Hokies, and now it's a 6-point lead with Elena Dupre doing the service. Sets it up for Marinelli, and for the 3rd time today, East Carolina responds with a point immediately after a challenge.
Now serving
Laura Uya. Turkish libero wearing purple for the Pirates. Hits the net and rolls over, and you could not ask for a more perfect serve. Laura Uya showing how it's done. Just hits the top of the net, slows to a stop, and rolls over. This one goes a little higher over the net. Borer from Angel Duran. It's touched by East Carolina as it goes out of play. Angel Duran gets the serve. Hokies have been in control this entire set. Blockers are there for Virginia Tech. This time hits off the blockers. Gonna take a big recovery. Borer sends it back over. East Carolina continues to deliver haymaker after haymaker. Here comes another from Marinelli. Dug out by the Hokies. And now Francis is able to deliver the knockout punch on the other side. East Carolina kept delivering overhand after overhand. Virginia Tech said, enough of this, we're gonna deliver the uppercut. Pulling it within 2 of the set win. A dump over, beautiful shot by Juliana Askew. And for Askew, getting up to 21 kills on the season. At 18 entering today, Askew with 3, and she'll become the next server for the Pirates. Askew high over the net. The setup, and Peterson is stuffed. Marinelli in on the block for the Pirates. 23-19. Askew. Borer sets it up. Peterson slams it into the court. It's set point Virginia Tech. And it's Sierra Cates serving, trying to finish the set. Over the net it goes. Askew sets up. Swing by McBride. Borer for Dupre. Hits the court, and the Hokies take the second set, going up to battle has shown up. East Carolina hitting just 165 as Ileana Rodriguez. First serve of the set is into the net, and a service error will give ECU the early set 4 lead. We'll see Kenzie Beckham, a Texas native. Borer sets it up for Lewis. Such a strong arm on Lewis, the native to Maryland. Rodriguez with the dig. Angel Duran needs to get it over and does. The set by Askew and Fran McBride. Able to find the court. Touched by Virginia Tech. Both teams went back to their huddles celebrating, but it was ECU who was rightfully celebrating. Borer looked for the kill, couldn't get it. It's Alderete. Again, another kill, and showing why Alderete was so good, named the AAC Freshman of the Year last year. Looking for even more accolades in just her second year of collegiate volleyball. Kenzie Beckham, the server. Ava Francis is blocked. Saying not today was Fran McBride, the Mississippi State transfer. And ECU has started this set at an unbelievable pace for Zip. Borer sets it for Francis. She's blocked again. McBride and Farouk slam the door, and it's a timeout early in the 4th set for Marcy Byers and Virginia Tech. a 5-0 Pirate lead. As we head to our first timeout of the fourth set, East Carolina dominant. Kenzie Beckham, the junior from Austin, on the serve for East Carolina. Kara Lewis tried to finish the job and get Virginia Tech on the scoreboard for the first time in this fourth set, as Marcy Byers was forced to call timeout, trailing 5-0. And the first point finally does come for the Hokies. Anna Borer, low serve. Set for Dupre, up and over, out of play. Elena Dupre gets the kill as Askew tried to dig it out, couldn't quite do so successfully. And the Hokies have taken a couple points in a row. Alderete got a touch from Virginia Tech, earns another kill. And Angeles Alderete racking up the kills. She's up to 13. Leads all players. Alderete came into this game averaging just under 3 kills a set. Today with Alderete, 13 kills. We're in the fourth set. She has already matched that total. Larouya. Native to Turkey, sends it over. For Dupre. Stuffs it home. Great swing by Dupre. Substitution will see the freshman Elizabeth Aylward playing in just her 5th game in a Virginia Tech uniform. Career high 3 kills against Morgan State, 3 service aces against FDU. Angle Duran over dugout. McBride. Borer sets it up. Mangle Duran pushes it over, and a whistle in favor of East Carolina. Net violation on Virginia Tech. Leandra Mangle Duran getting called on the net violation. On the other side for ECU, Tia Shum. Shum has had quite the journey for East Carolina as Dupre gets another kill. Shum, the starting libero in 2021, didn't play last season. Now is a defensive specialist and server this season for the Pirates. Sierra Cates serving for the Hokies, who trail by 4, make it 5 on the service error. A must-win set for the ECU Pirates. Trailing by a set 2-1. And this is exactly the pace that the Pirates have needed to be at for this fourth set. Angeles Alderete. Borer over to Manguel Duran. Set up, sent over by Marinelli. Borer, a swing by Dupre. It's popped up. Chaos for ECU, somehow get it over. Borer and Peterson delivers the finishing blow. The Hokies saw how much trouble ECU had getting the ball over the net. Knew they had him discombobulated and was able to finish the job on a nice feed from Borer to Peterson. Askew looked like she was going to set, but dumps it over. And Juliana Askew will earn the point.
Soraya Schulteis, number 16, for ECU. Tries to pass the serve.
Soraya Schulteis out of Mateno, Illinois, making her Virginia Tech Classic debut, did not play yesterday and has not played in any of the first 3 sets. She comes in to serve, and the Hokies are looking to make her rotation a short one. Blocked out of bounds by East Carolina. Point Hokies. And in fact, Schulteis will only get 1 serve before it flips right back over. Hokies will have Manguel Duran serving. We've been mentioning both East Carolina and Virginia Tech. Football teams in action in road games. High bump, Askew over, and a kill by Marinelli. Point ECU, touched out of bounds by Virginia Tech. Well, a close game for the East Carolina football team, trailing 29-28 mid-third quarter against Appalachian State. Virginia Tech has the ball, but still trailing 21-3 to Rutgers. Juliana Askew. Second time in her career playing Virginia Tech. Askew sets it up for Alderete. What a beautiful swing for Alderete. Line drive, hits inside the boundary lines, and it's a kill for Alderete. Askew back serving. Mentioned her second time taking on Virginia Tech, despite ECU and Tech not playing since '09. Transfer from North Florida, where the Ospreys defeated the Hokies 2 years ago. Swing by Francis is too much for the Pirates to handle. Touched out of bounds, and the Hokies will get the point.
Now serving for Virginia Tech, number 4, Eliana Rodriguez.
Time called. We'll wait for Lara Uya to tie her shoe. Eliana Rodriguez serves. Alderete with the dig. Marinelli with the swing. Borer sets up for Lewis, but it's blocked by Marinelli. She was the only Pirate in the vicinity and still elevates to get the block. Pirates have been looking really good in this 4th set. Final set that will go to 25-4. Over and stuffed. Fran McBride with the kill. It was a dig that went back over the net. McBride said, "I'll finish this myself." Puts the hands up and just flicks it down towards the court. Kenzie Beckham to serve for East Carolina. Football score in this 4th set with the Pirates leading by a touchdown. Francis sends it over, tips off a couple of Pirates before finding the hardwood. Side out, we'll see Borer become the next server for the Hokies. Borer, a low toss with a low serve. Alderete on the swing. Rodriguez, a nice dig. Borer for Francis. It's blocked once again. A block party for East Carolina. They have been all over the Hokies. 7th block of the afternoon for East Carolina. Arauya. Borer. High set for Dupre, who swings, touched by East Carolina on the front line. And it's a point for the Hokies. Elizabeth Aylward, the freshman, checks in. Aylward has been more so a designated server, listed as an outside hitter. Askew sets it up for Alderete. Nice dig by Borer. It's Rodriguez with the set. Now Borer for Dupre. Block is there, but out of bounds, and Virginia Tech will earn the point. Dupre gets credit for the kill. Dupre leading all players in kills with 16, 2 away from her career-high 18 that she set yesterday against the Royals. Dupre, a heavy-handed swing, somehow dug out, and McBride sends it back over. This time, Kara Lewis with the knockout blow. Dupre weakened him, and Lewis finished him off. Hokies within 4 after trailing this set at 1 point by 7. Back over the net, and Manuel Duran reaching over the net and stuffing it down with a flick of the wrist. Timeout, East Carolina. It's first of the 4th set. Seeing early signs of Virginia Tech clawing its way back into this 4th set after trailing by 7 at 1 point. Borer, a set, and Manuel Duran somehow sprints in to save it. Manuel Duran sends it over. Beckham. Askew. McBride gets the kill. Touched out of bounds by Virginia Tech. Tia Shum checks into the game for East Carolina, the Canadian native. Played for Team Ontario in some Canadian tournaments. Manuel Duran stuffs it past the arms of Askew and Northcross to find the hardwood. Hokies back within 3. Sierra Cates checks in. Cates has been in more of a designated server role. So far today has 2 service errors to no aces. Alderete. A swing and a service attacking error. My apologies, we'll give the point to East Carolina. Substitution will see East Carolina bolster for the new server, Angeles Alderete. Really good server in Alderete, 4 aces today. Looking to make it 5. Back over the net. And it's Marinelli. Dupre. It's blocked out of bounds. Point Hokies. Elena Dupre gets the service. East Carolina looking to force a 5th set. Virginia Tech wants to climb the hill to make sure that this is it. Hokies looking for an undefeated conference slate. Something they have not done in their program history. An attacking error by Izzy Marinelli. East Carolina hitting just 187 today. Against the 3rd best team in the country in Virginia Tech in hitting percentage against. A swing and a kill for Elena Dupre. She has now tied her career high in kills that she set yesterday afternoon. And Dupre is going to have plenty of chances. Hokies still need 9 points to win the set at least. Block goes out of bounds. It was a solid attempt by Borer and Peterson. Hannah Borer for Virginia Tech, by the way, also getting close to her career high in assist. Looking for another one here as Peterson swings, dug out by East Carolina. And a bad set goes out of bounds. Point Virginia Tech.
Rotating number 24, Francis, now serving. Leandra.
Brings up Leandra Mangle-Duran to serve for Virginia Tech. And Borer did get the assist on that. A solid shot for Juliana Askew. And she'll become the next server for East Carolina. But currently, Hannah Borer at 45 assists. Career high was set at 47 against Fairleigh Dickinson. That was at the Lehigh Invitational last weekend. Borer sets for Peterson. Solid dig by Alderete, who now looks for the kill. Borer for Francis. Weak swing. Back up, battle at the net. Won by East Carolina. Somehow stays alive, but goes out of play. Virginia Tech looked for a miracle point, but instead an attacking error gives the point to East Carolina. Back deep, almost all the way in the tunnel, is Juliana Askew serving for the Pirates. She'll take a running start, jumping on a high serve, and it works out for Askew, earning the service ace, the 9th service ace for East Carolina today, and it forces Marcy Byers and Virginia Tech to call timeout. East Carolina leading by 4, needing the set to stay alive. We got a good one from Castle Coliseum. Stay tuned on the ACC Network. Well, today Virginia Tech has been laying down the hammer. Kara Lewis has been racking up the kills, and Elena Dupre getting closer and closer to a new career high that she just set yesterday. Elena Dupre currently at 18, so she has tied her career high. Kara Lewis with 10 kills today. On the other side, East Carolina has been doing an excellent job at battling back. Lost the first set, won the second, lost the third set, and now lead by 4 here in the 4th set. Fran McBride, 11 kills. Angeles Alderete, 14 kills. Juliana Askew serves it for East Carolina. Virginia Tech has used both of its timeouts. The set for Ava Francis. It's dug out. Askew blocked by Peterson. Point Virginia Tech. Just the 4th block for Virginia Tech on the day. And we expected this to be a great matchup. When you have 2 teams in the top 10 for hitting percentage against, you're going to expect a lot of good defense, some great digs, and we've seen that today. There's another one, but couldn't recover. Fran McBride was going over to help Askew and wasn't there for the rebound off of Askew's fist. Point Hokies back within 2. Reminder, Virginia Tech has trailed by 7 at one point in this set. Pancake from Alderete, now swings. Borer for Francis. Askew, Marinelli, too far. An attacking error for Marinelli, and the Hokies have crossed the 20-point mark. Hokies will see Ileana Rodriguez. An ace and an error, but it will have to wait. Adler Augustine, the head coach for ECU, calls his second timeout now that the Hokies have pulled back within 1. We got a thriller of a fourth set. Stay tuned. An exciting finish to this set and the Virginia Tech Classic on tap on the ACC Network Extra. One needing the set win to stay alive in this match. Virginia Tech looking to complete the comeback so they don't have to worry about playing a fifth set. Ileana Rodriguez, the server for the Hokies. Askew sets it up for McBride. What a dig by Leandra Mangual-Duran. Another swing for McBride. This time it hits the hardwood. Point ECU. McBride has been doing an excellent job. Every swing seems to be more powerful than the last. Kenzie Beckham, a junior from Austin. Sends it over. Borer sets it up for Dupre. And it's Alderete. A hard hit swing. Rodriguez will send it over. On a long bump. Borer, nice dig. The swing for Alderete finds its way onto the court once more. ECU inching closer and closer to forcing a decisive fifth set. Beckham, low serve, just over the net. Borer. And it's Ava Francis with the swing. Touched out of bounds by East Carolina. The Hokies do not want to have to deal with a fifth set. Place they have not been recently. Bump block, Virginia Tech. Lucky Rose Williams, who just checked in with the block. The Hokies back within one. Hokies' last five-setter came at Toledo during the Toledo Challenge. That was a five-set win for Virginia Tech over the host from the MAC. A service ace now, and Virginia Tech climbing the mountain, down by 7 in this set. We're tied up. Hannah Borer with the service ace. And ECU out of timeouts looking for answers. Hokies a point away from match point. East Carolina a point away from set point. Borer over the net. The set. McBride heavy-handed. Hits the hardwood, and Fran McBride may have just broken the speed clock. I mean, that thing was sent down with emphasis. It's set point, East Carolina for Lara Uya. Tech needs a point to stay alive in the set. It goes to Dupre, a new career high in kills, keeps the Hokies alive in the fourth set. The pressure is more on East Carolina than Virginia Tech, but be certain both teams want to win this set in particular. You do not want the momentum to go to East Carolina if you're Virginia Tech, and obviously you don't want Virginia Tech to win it if you're East Carolina. Elizabeth Aylward with the serve. The set and finish. Carlia Northcross. And it's set point, Pirates once more. Pia Shum, the Canadian native, checks in to do the serving for East Carolina. Have to win by 2. Shum. High serve. Borer for Mangual-Duran. Tipped off Shum. A nice dig. Askew. Alderete. Borer for Dupre. High in the sky. Nearly hits the roof. And it's a big kill from Angeles Alderete. East Carolina winning the set 26-24. And we'll go to a fifth set here in Blacksburg. Back at Classic title match. So we begin the fifth set. Borer, low serve. And it's Fran McBride, a nice swing and kill. Couple new career highs for a couple of Hokies as well. Elena Dupre, a career high in kills at 19. Hannah Borer, career high in assists at 48. Kenzie Beckham serves for East Carolina. High serve. Borer has to rein it in. Ileana Rodriguez sends it over. McBride, the set, and it's Farah Farouk. Laying down the hammer, and it's 2-0 East Carolina. Trying to hand the Hokies. It's their first loss of the season. Hokies have never gone undefeated in non-conference play. A service error for Kenzie Beckham will give the Hokies the first point of the fifth set. East Carolina is trying to make sure that that fact remains true. Virginia Tech, best start in program history at 10-0. They certainly would like to take that to an 11-0 record to take on the Seminoles next weekend. Borer sets for Manuel Duran. Attacking air, and it's East Carolina with the point. Reminder, the fifth set is best or first to 15, not 25. It's Laura Uya. Borer, the set for Manuel Duran. It's a tip. Borer, Rodriguez, Manuel Duran. It's been that three most of the night. This time it's Lewis. The set and swing, Alderete. Really solid volley. We've been going for quite some time. Borer for Lewis. Heavy-handed swing, block out of bounds, point Hokies. A 5-set thriller from Castle Coliseum.
Now serving for Virginia Tech, Ileana Rodriguez.
First time that Tech has gone to 5 sets at home this season. Solid swing. Borer over to Dupre. High set, needing to get it over is Beckham. She does. Solid dig by Rodriguez. Touching the net, and a net violation will give the point to Virginia Tech. And just an innocent mistake trying to get to the ball and accidentally makes contact with the net. Gives the point to Virginia Tech. A serve right into the net for Ileana Rodriguez, point East Carolina. Last time the Hokies went to 5 in this building against their arch rival, the Virginia Cavaliers, October 28th of last year, a 5-set loss for the Hokies. Borer the set, Peterson, a heavy-handed swing. My goodness, Sydney Peterson ties the set at 4.
Now serving for Virginia Tech, number 14, Elena Dupre.
Elena Dupre, the server. It just hits the net, trickles over. Elena Dupre, a textbook service ace. Hokies have the momentum. Dupre looking to repeat the magic from her last serve. Can't do it this time. Askew sets it up for Alderete. Nice pancake from Dupre, and it's Manuel Duran who has to send it over. Hard-handed swing by Carlia Northcross. It finds the hardwood, and East Carolina has evened it back up at 5. And this is a match which neither team deserves to lose. Angeles Alderete, the star sophomore for the Pirates. High toss hits the net, can't get it over. Hokies have now taken the lead in the 5th set. Leandra Mangual-Duran. It's it high, and it's a skew, dumping it over the net. Point East Carolina. We go to 15. Virginia Tech winning the odd-numbered sets. East Carolina the evens. Borer for Peterson. Hits off the front line. Shum will send it over. Rodriguez, high set for Ava Francis. Hits off the blockers. Dupre, solid dig. Francis, the swing goes from left to right, but hits the net. East Carolina reclaims the lead. Conference play starts next for both sides. Ava Francis blocked, but it goes out of bounds. Point Virginia Tech. We're tied at 7s. Next point will take us to a mandatory timeout. East Carolina next is a home game against Wichita State on Wednesday. That game on ESPN+. Serve by Sierra Cates. A service error. East Carolina leading 8-7. Will switch sides and take a mandatory timeout. East Carolina 7 points away from beating the Hokies in the Virginia Tech Classic title game. Virginia Tech right there, only trailing by a point. Fifth set here on the ACC Network Extra. Don't go in. East Carolina sweep Duquesne. Virginia Tech winning 4 over Queens. Queens defeated Duquesne in the third place game earlier today at 1 o'clock. And it's East Carolina now from the north side, serving to the south. From the student section towards the tunnel, and it's Juliana Askew. The North Florida transfer looking to go 2-0 against the Hokies in her career. Borer for Ava Francis, who finds the hardwood. And neither team deserves to lose this one. I mean, both teams have been fighting back and forth through momentum swings and adversity. But essentially, a first to 7 with the set tied at 8. Hannah Borer, low serve. A swing and a kill by East Carolina's Brittany Wood. We have not seen her all day. All of a sudden comes in for the 5th set and earns the kill. Wood battled injury last season. Good to see her back on the hardwood this year. Kenzie Beckham, the next server for the Pirates. Borer sets it up for Dupre. The swing goes out, and it's point East Carolina. Pirates 5 points away from upsetting the Hokies and giving them their first loss of the season. Marcy Byers wants to talk it over. Timeout Hokies. Her first timeout of the set. 10-8 East Carolina. Set 5. An exciting finish for a 5-set thriller up next from the Extra. Marcy Byers in her 4th season calling the timeout. East Carolina still has Kenzie Beckham serving. Pirates 5 points away from giving Virginia Tech its first loss of the season. Mangual-Duran sets it up. Lucky Rose Williams. Askew for McBride. Sends it onto the hardwood. Just hits the corner. Hokies thought it was going out. Tech trails by 3. East Carolina has the momentum. Ileana Rodriguez. Borer for Dupre into the net. It's all East Carolina. Pirates have been looking really good. 3 points away from victory for East Carolina, and Marcy Byers calls timeout. Hokies on the ropes, needing a big comeback following this timeout. Pirates within 3 points of winning the Virginia Tech Classic. An exciting finish on tap. We'll take a short break, be back here on the Kenzie Beckham serving for East Carolina. Pirates 3 points away from getting the upset win in the Virginia Tech Classic over the host. Hokies need a comeback to start now. To put it in perspective, Virginia Tech needs 7 points. East Carolina needing just 3 to win. Beckham sends it over. Rodriguez back Alderete. The attack and the kill. Angeles Alderete. East Carolina in prime position to upset the Hokies. Big run, a 4-0 run for the Pirates. Borer for Lucky Rose Williams. It's tipped by Uya. Alderete again. And kills it once more. Angeles Alderete putting the Pirates on her back and carrying them to the finish line. It's match point, East Carolina. Hokies going to need a miracle. Into the net, it starts with that. Service error by Kenzie Beckham. East Carolina still with 5 match points remaining. Virginia Tech, once again, off to their best start in program history at 10-0. Trying to get into ACC play with an undefeated record. Alderete is blocked, and a great block by Kara Lewis, and Elena Dupre puts the Hokies to double digits. Still a lot of work to do. Match point for the Pirates, looking to improve to 9-2 if they can finish the win. Elizabeth Aylward, the server. Tough spot. Alderete a swing. Aylward with the dig. Borer for Dupre. Blocked set. Askew over another block. Kara Lewis, a nice swing. Good dig by Beckham. And Alderete finds the hardwood. East Carolina wins the Virginia Tech Classic in a 5-set thriller over Virginia Tech. Hands the Hokies their first loss of the season. Hokies off to their best start in program